want you to watch this if you are struggling with dating and intimacy and self-worth and how you see yourself, and maybe you see yourself as unattractive and you're comparing yourself to all these different people, whether you're a man or a woman. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you come from. We all fall into the trap at one point or another around the comparison syndrome. I want you to watch this video if you're stuck in that I'm ugly, I'm not attractive, I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as my neighbor, I'm not as attractive as my brother, I'm not as sexy as my friend. Whatever your comparison is, if you're stuck in that, I want you to think about something. You are a 5 million year success story. Let me talk about that just briefly. For 5 million years or thereabouts, hominoids have been roaming this planet. Your ancestors have been around. We are all here because of our ancestors. Now, when we look at attraction dynamics, when we look at fertilization-driven sex, attraction, sexuality, reproduction, survival, right? Strength in numbers in a very volatile environment. I'm sure not all the time, but for the large part of our human history, we've been living in desperation, in unknown, in dangerous, volatile, precarious places. And we've almost suffered for that. And our society has exploited the psychological adaptive mating strategies of both men and women. We'll get to that maybe in this video, maybe not. But we're essentially talking about beauty versus ugliness or unattractiveness. And you will unconsciously and or consciously place yourself in one of those categories or on the spectrum of that. Like if beauty is a 10 and ugliness is a 0, you're somewhere there on the spectrum. Like you'll self-analyze, you'll do that. But maybe you're being a little harsh on yourself. Maybe you're not thinking about that your ancestors were attractive enough to bring in enough investment from their partners or from people near them, because people were scarce at some point, like really scarce. It wasn't 7.7 billion people on the planet like there is today. And you attracted enough investment to be here, or your ancestors did, to be here and raise at least one child to mature reproductive age. And their successors did the same thing. So your ancestors did this. Think about that for a moment. Now you may be saying, yeah, but there weren't many people around, like you didn't really have a choice, and like all the choice that we have today. And yes, and biological impulses for attraction are a real fucking thing, and they're strong. And if you're a man, your ancestors, if you're feeling down on yourself, your ancestors attracted a woman to have your child. Now, in some circumstances, absolutely. It would have been well, you're the only one here. I don't really have a choice. Yeah, sure. But at some point, there was choice. There was choice. And your ancestors were smart enough, intelligent enough, adept enough, able enough, attractive enough, whether it's physical beauty or something else. They bought resources, they bought wisdom, they bought intelligence, they bought awareness of an environment, whatever it was, whatever skills, tools, adaptations, value that they had enough value to attract a mate, your ancestors, down the line. And so the purpose of this video is I work with people who have such low self-worth. I used to be that person. I used to be that person that would look at myself and think I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I don't do enough. I don't look good enough. Like it was always never enough. And that was never really my story. That was my father's story. That was my mother's story. That was potentially my grandparents' story actually as well when I think about it, maternal grandparents particularly. And these stories, these energetic, emotional, psychological imprints and patterns that my family ran, I took them on. And I've been sitting with this for the last few days. I've been thinking about, wow, all these people that I work with that really don't believe in themselves, that think that they're not attractive, that they can't get a partner of their dreams. Well, they're putting that energy out there. They're seeing themselves in a particular light and they're not confident. And if you're not confident, you're going to come from a fear-based state. You're going to live your life from a retracted place. That isn't attractive when you're attracted. Low self-confidence isn't attractive. And then there's a slew of effects that come from that. You'll stop trying as hard. You won't be as determined. You won't be consistent in your behavior. You'll be a recluse. You'll be introverted. You won't believe in yourself. Therefore, you won't take risks. You won't take chances. You won't put yourself out there. You'd rather watch TV. It's maybe your safe and happy place. You'd rather be in your apartment or walk your dog, and you sort of move away from people. Well, of course you're not going to attract someone. Of course you're not going to see someone that may see something in you that's special because you're not seeing anything special in yourself. Pause for effect. And I was thirsty. I am still thirsty. So the moment I started really seeing myself in a different light and started behaving more confidently, not from an artificial place, but from a real place, like I started to see the value in me. I began to surround myself with people that saw the value in me, that would reflect that back to me, either verbally or through their actions. And I would start standing in my power and really dealing with my shadow stuff that was holding me back. Because it's that stuff, that pain and that fear that I was avoiding that kept me playing small. Because I didn't want to get out there and then maybe think, the imposter syndrome, or what if I can't deal with all the attention or the love that I'm getting from people or the affection or the care? Like, what? I'm fake, I'm false, I'm not real. And I work with these people that have a similar energetic running through the way they see themselves. Low self-worth. They see themselves as unattractive, nothing to offer the world, nothing to offer their partners. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. You are the product of millions of years of evolution. Your ancestors have done something right. You are right. You have done something right. You're just not seeing it. You're not embracing it. You're not owning it. You're not stepping into it, and you're not empowering yourself and arming yourself with that knowledge and then going into the world with that. Because if you can't see your value, you'll hide that from the world, and the world won't be able to see it. It'll be too hard for them. It's like putting a 10,000 piece puzzle together. Like, it's going to take a minute, and most people just don't have the time for that. They don't have the patience for that. And so show the world who you are. But to show the world who you are, you've got to see it in yourself, and you've got to believe it in yourself. Start with knowing that you are of value. Otherwise, you actually would not be here today. Full stop. You're beautiful. You're attractive. You're gorgeous. You're good looking. You're hot. You're sexy. Whatever you want, you are. But you've got to see it in yourself. And there's actually some objective truth to that. Power and blessings to you. Believe in you.